Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today I'm going to be doing a video on the new Tarte Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette. I will be perfectly honest, I completely and totally underestimated this collaboration. When I first heard it was coming out, I really had no interest in it. It's not that I have anything against Graveyard Girl or Tarte. I feel like a lot of times makeup brands are just kind of, you know, putting somebody's name on it who has a lot of followers and just hoping that people will buy. And inevitably it does sell out because, hello, it has a popular person's name on it. So when I first heard this collaboration was coming out, I had no interest in it. And then in walks my audience. And so many of you guys made it very clear that you wanted to see my opinion on this palette before you guys purchase. And that's when I decided to put my skepticism aside and to just purchase it, test it out, and let you guys know my honest opinion. So I picked this palette up on Sephora.com for $45. I know you can also get it on the Tarte website. I'm not sure if they're sold out there. This palette has kind of been in and out of stock on different websites a lot, but I'm sure you can get it anywhere Tarte is sold, like Macy's and Ulta. This is what the outer box to the palette looks like. It does have Bunny's picture on the back, which is really cute. And then this is what the actual palette itself looks like. It's pretty much just plain on the back. I really was impressed by the overall packaging quality of this palette. Getting it in person and realizing how very sturdy it feels. It does have a nice weight to it. This outer like kind of wood pattern grain here is actually like textured and it feels very like smooth. They did a very, very good job on the packaging. You can see that this actual lining here is a metallic gold and it matches the writing here on the front, which is very cute. And then when you open it up, this is what the inside of the palette itself looks like. First thing you're probably going to notice the second you open this palette up is that this palette smells very heavily of vanilla. I've heard some people complaining about that, but I personally really like it. And plus, half of the Too Faced makeup line smells like chocolate and no one complains about that. So anyways, delicious scent. You can see that there is a very, very large mirror on the top. It doesn't really prop itself up, so it's not super usable, but on the mirror, it does say, believe in yourself, love yourself, embrace your individuality, which is very nice. There is a little brush at the bottom of the palette, and it's basically your standard kind of flat shader brush. And now jumping into what we all really care about, the makeup that is included. These are all face products. You get a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight, and then 9 different shadows. I do like the way the eyeshadows are laid out in this palette because I feel like they are kind of broken down into trios. You kind of have like your warm eyeshadow look, your neutral shadow look, and then your purpley kind of mauve-y shadow look. And of course, you can completely mix and match within this palette. In fact, I use these face products a lot on my eyes and they work really well for that too. Before I discuss my personal opinion on the quality and the palette overall, let's go ahead and jump into swatches of everything included in this palette. We will go ahead and start off with the face products. So from left to right, we have the bronzer in Sweet Tea, the blush in Does This Thing Really Work, and the highlighter in Gator Wings. I was actually really shocked to see that all of these face products work really well, even on my tan complexion. The bronzer is a little lighter than what I typically go for a contour, but the blush and the highlight work really beautifully. And then here are swatches of all 8 of the eyeshadows included in this palette. From left to right, we have hashtag SFS, Natural Peaches, Dogman, Big Baby, Sassy Bun, Sippy Sippy, Haunting, Uncommon, and Man Cat. I will say that the overall pigmentation of this palette is really good. You can see that the 3 kind of darker shades, the Dogman, Sippy Sippy, and Man Cat shades really pop even against my skin tone. So now let's go ahead and talk about the overall quality and my thoughts on this palette. Quality-wise, I was really surprised to find out I really like it. I will say that the overall texture of all of the products in this palette is really soft and smooth and silky, but Some of these shades, particularly this shade up here, Dogman and Sippy Sippy, do have little specks of like glitter particles in it that don't really transfer to the eye, but when you stick a brush in the product, it kind of loosens up the product and it makes it really powdery. These two shades right here in the center, Sassy Bun and Uncommon, are really, really smooth and pigmented. They work really well. They don't kick up any fallout. I will say that all of the shades, especially in the eyeshadow portion of this palette, work really, really well together. Keep in mind the color selection that you have. It's all very neutral and it's all kind of similar tones, so you're not gonna get a lot of difference one eye look next to the other. In terms of the face products, all of the face products are really good, but all of them do have some sparkle in them. So the bronzer, it's primarily matte, and when you use it on the face, it does look very matte, but in the pan, it does have little specks of gold. The blush does look quite chunky and golden in the pan, but when you apply it to your skin, it just gives a really nice luminescence to your skin. And then this highlighter is really chunky. I mean, there are like big chunks of like silver glitter in there, but it's really pigmented. So the overall look of it, even on the skin, still looks really nice. I do wish they would have done without the glitter in some of these shades, particularly, I mean, the blush and the highlight would have been nice to not have that extra chunky glitter. Honestly, I would say my only real problem with this palette, and it's not like, I guess it's just my problem, but these colors are all so ordinary. I hate to use the word basic because I feel like in our like generation, the word basic has such a negative connotation, but I don't mean to mean it rudely, but this is a very basic palette. If you guys have dwindled in the makeup world for a while and you guys have any other makeup palettes or pretty much any other makeup in general, you probably have these colors elsewhere in your collection. I could see this being usable for someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of makeup, or perhaps this is your first big makeup splurge and you need some of these basic colors to use in an everyday look. So if you fall under that category, I do think this is a great palette to pick up. You do have some face products and a good variety of shadows to create very basic everyday shadow looks. But for someone who has a good amount of makeup, you most definitely have everything that is included in this palette somewhere else in your collection. I guarantee you that not a single product in this palette is unique. And for me, that's a little bit of a disappointment because I would hope that with such a hyped up collaboration, something about this product would be unique, but I don't know, it's pretty, the quality of the products are great. I think it's a good price for what you get. Do keep in mind that Tarte makeup is very, very high quality and everything is formulated without parabens, mineral oil, phthalates, triclosan, sodium lauryl sulfate, and gluten. It's all dermatologically tested. It is not vegan though, so I did want to point that out. I was looking through the ingredients and there is carmine in some of these shadows, but Tarte is cruelty free, and most importantly, this palette is made in the US, and that's really important to me because all of that does factor into the price. That's pretty much all I wanted to say on this palette. I do think it is a good quality palette overall. I will be keeping it in my collection, but I don't think it is a unique product in terms of the colors. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video on Monday. I will see you then. Bye. You guys can probably tell the big trend with eyeshadow palettes are these kinds of reddish, these like foily shadows here are definitely the best in this palette, but